On November 11, 2024, I said this: imagine XCOM, but it's Star Wars. Well, would you look at that? Star Wars Zero Company is an upcoming turn-based tactics Star Wars game being pitched to the public as, you guessed it, XCOM, but it's Star Wars.
And what you got to say?
This is it. 2026 cannot come fast enough, ladies and gentlemen. The best game from 2012, in my opinion, was XCOM. And former XCOM developers from Firaxis Games are involved in the development of Star Wars Zero Company. To be honest, when I first heard about this project, I was worried, and I was still worried watching the trailer. I was hoping it was going to be more XCOM and less Marvel's Midnight Suns. That is to say, I didn't think that Permadeath was going to be a feature. After all, the game features defined characters. The clone soldier, Trick.
Trick-ass marks, punk, bitches, and skip-scap skanks and
The sniper, Luco Bronk.
His name is Luca Brasi.
The Mandalorian gunslinger, Clay Culervo. And the Jedi Padawan, Tell. But no, I am so happy I was wrong about this one, because like it says in this PC Gamer headline, the game does have permadeath.
Here it comes, he's shooting my boy. No!
Soldiers you create can be customized to the class and appearance you want. Then the game also has authored characters, who turn up already armed with personalities, backstories, and roles in the story. But not only will they have a degree of customization too, they are not exempt from permadeath. And if they are lost in some outer rim skirmish, that will actually affect how elements of the story play out. That sounds brilliant. They go on to say that the game features difficulty settings like making the permadeath optional. But for people like me who want to bring the pain, this is a magnificent step in the direction of replayability, bringing uniqueness to the story for each player. And speaking of the story, this one takes place during the tail end of the Clone Wars, at least according to this article from StarWars.com. The opening moment from the trailer looks suspiciously like the Battle of Naboo in The Phantom Menace. This planet could be Naboo, and that Trade Federation Lucrehulk battleship we see under attack is probably the same one Anakin ends up destroying. Maybe one of Zero Company's missions takes place during all the confusion, but I guess we'll see. Maybe it was just for the trailer. This is coming from StarWars.com. You assume the role of Hawks, a former Republic officer who is in charge of an elite squad of cunning operatives. Andor, a Star Wars story, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and the original trilogy of films served as the game's inspiration and guiding lights. You're going to see influence from the political intrigue of Andor, aka the best Star Wars show. You're going to see the gritty battles of Rogue One. You're going to see the wit and wisdom of A New Hope. It's a Star Wars game through and through. In between adventuring across the galaxy to embark on tactical missions, players will return to the Den, Zero Company's base of operations located on the Ring of Kafrene, the first location we see in Rogue One. The Den features an expansive galaxy map where players choose the strategic tasks and tactical missions to take on next. The places players choose to go and the missions they undertake can each have an impact on the story, said Bit Reactor's game director, Greg Forsch. I'm not even gonna pretend like I pronounced his name correctly, but they're suggesting some RPG-like mechanics will be present. The character you play, Hawks, is customizable. You'll be making choices that affect the story, and the developer said they want the choices made in the game to be meaningful. And while in the field, members of Zero Company who players choose to send on the mission will forge bonds between them to unlock powerful combat synergies that can turn the tide of battle, a mechanic we've seen before in franchises like XCOM and Fire Emblem. Now, it's not exactly all sunshine and rainbows, because there are 4 companies attached to this project to make it happen: Lucasfilm Games and the developers Bit Reactor in collaboration with Respawn Entertainment, which means that Electronic Arts is involved as publisher. My hatred of Electronic Arts is no secret. What I'm about to say is probably pointless, but I'm going to say it anyway. A very good idea for this game would be full mod support. Even better would be to couple that with a map and scenario editor. XCOM Enemy Unknown did not have mod support, and yet still something like Long War was created. Firaxis saw that and said, you know what? Our bad. XCOM 2 does have mod support, even full integration with Steam Workshop, and what happened? The modding scene went crazy and kept the game alive and kicking. Just imagine people adding new characters, new species to choose from, new weapons and armor, or even entirely new scenarios. Imagine being able to build one-off scenarios from past Star Wars media. The Battle of Telos, for example, leading a team of Telos security, Onderon soldiers and or Kunda militia to secure the fuel for the station and make sure Darth Nihilus' forces don't bring the station down on the planet. Or maybe even a fight on the Ravager. Space battles can be turn-based tactics as well. But alas, Electronic Arts. Smart Money says they're not going to do any of what I just mentioned. They might try to sell you some of it as DLC or microtransactions, or it could be a Star Wars Squadrons type of situation. Either way, EA tends to be awfully hostile to the idea of people playing their games for more than one fiscal year. I guess because they want you to spend money on the next thing, and mod support is not conducive to such a business strategy. Either way, I'm keeping my eye on this one. We have a Discord server. If the game has multiplayer, that's where it's gonna go down. Like, subscribe, until next time, peace.